stay friends. Like, I mean, we still, had a connection. We had a good time together. I really liked Andra a lot, and I think after everything's over, we'll still be friends, regardless if I was picked or not.
Where are you on the scale of disappointment, hopes, whatever? Where are you?
Coming into this, like, I was always making jokes about, oh, I'm gonna get eliminated first round, and I may have jinxed myself, but I guess in that it was a tiny bit expected, so I didn't really like put too many like big hopes in anything anyway. I just, just gonna come in and have fun and whatever. And if I get kicked off first time, whatever. I still got to meet a whole bunch of nice people. I still had a good time. Like it was a very good experience for me, regardless.
So what do you think of this whole experience?
Honestly, I think a lot of it was made up for me very artificial. It made the situation of getting to know James in particular very much more difficult, I guess, than I would have in a normal setting. I actually found myself much more comfortable talking to and getting to know like everyone else other than him. I don't know if that was something with me, something with him, or just in a way, I felt as though like there was just all this, these expectations to get to know him and talk to him. I guess I would say my least favorite moment was probably that one-on-one date thing. It was just so rushed. Like I had people in the background telling, we gotta go do this now, and I'm just like, this whole feels so artificial, like I can't, and I wanted to ask him things, and he actually had his questions for me, and I'm just like, I hope I'm not stepping on any toes, and you have all these things running through your head, and like, oh, geez, like it felt very rushed, very artificial, honestly. I'm very glad I did this. It was definitely a new experience. It was a chance to be on TV. It's just it was all around good experience. I really enjoyed meeting people, enjoyed talking to them. Like I said, I can be a people person when I want to and when I need to be, and just going up there and making friends is probably like much more of a priority for me than like finding the next hot date or anything, So I think the experience was very beneficial in that aspect.
Before the show, I spent a lot of time with as many of my gay friends as I could. And I tried to pick up on different mannerisms that I could. And I tried to create a person that I felt was close to who I am, Dan, but who's gay, who just happens to prefer men as a sexual preference. I went out to gay clubs. I went to the gay gym on Santa Monica Boulevard. I hung out with my gay friends at their house and just hung out and drank beers and talked about life growing up. What's it like to grow up gay? What's it like after you come out of the closet? And tried to create my history for who I was. And I created this ex-boyfriend who lives in New York. I figured if I create an ex-boyfriend who lives in New York, that wouldn't be a threat. At least it sounds like I'm a normal gay guy with an ex-boyfriend. Wasn't the best idea I had, but I did my best to just kind of create a history for myself as a gay man before the show started. When I was at Cornell, I dated a girl who's bisexual, and most of her friends were gay. So I hung out with them a lot and partied with them a lot and really got to know their lifestyle and their culture and what it's like going home and presenting the fact that they were gay to their parents and how difficult that was. My roommate's gay, and he lives a very different lifestyle than the one that I've been presented with from Showtime, where everybody's crazy and wild and hooking up every single night with a different guy. My roommate's 28 years old, and he can count the number of guys that he's been with on one hand. So there's a lot of different kinds of gay guys, and they don't all fit the same stereotype that we might be presented from Showtime. One thing that's nice is that I've been around enough gay guys throughout my life to where I'm really comfortable with everybody that I meet on a show like this. Going in, I was most nervous about screwing it up. I think this is a great premise for an experience, And the thought of me messing it up, having seen all the work that had gone into creating this experience for all of us, made me a little nervous because I didn't want to blow it. And at the same time, I wanted to go through the experience and live through this thing that I, at the end of the day, learned a lot from. The first few hours were a lot more difficult than I thought because I was up in my head worrying about messing up, worrying about how am I doing, worrying about how am I being perceived. And then it just kind of, I forgot all that stuff, and I had been doing it so long that it just was natural and didn't take much energy at all. It was effortless once I got in there and felt comfortable and got over a few initial trepidations that I had going into the show. From a gay, straight standpoint, I'm not at all surprised at the bonds that were formed during the show because I have gay friends that I'm tight with. At the end of the day, we're just people. I mean, it's like black, white, Asian, straight, gay, whatever your preference is. I mean, if we like to hang out with each other because we like each other's personalities and we have common interests, then, dude, we should be hanging out. I was so shocked when I heard that Matt has 0 straight friends. I mean, there's a whole perspective out there that you're not tapping into and you can't learn from and you can't interact with. It kind of bummed me out to hear that. It's a big world out there, and I would hope that people would be really open to learning from one another and having fun. I remember when we were dancing, and I felt that Michael was real nervous about it. And I was like, okay, for the first time I realized Michael's straight. Because he looks gay to me. And when I felt Michael so nervous about the dancing, I was like, okay, he's one of the straight guys. And then I'm looking over at James, and they're just like really grooving hardcore. And I'm like, wow, that's like what I need to be doing? Guess I better get my act together soon. But it was hard, I was a wrestler in high school, so it's one thing to be on a wrestling mat sort of like fighting and competing, but dancing like that intimately, it was new, interesting. When Brian and I first met, I think we could tell we had sort of a playful appreciation / connection with one another, and we started jabbing at each other right away and making fun, and I think you could tell we liked each other, just like I like my buddies that I hang out with, back home. And the fact that there is a sexual undertone when you are both gay poured an interesting dynamic into the relationship, one that I wasn't typically used to because, I have gay friends normally that know I'm straight. I have straight friends that know I'm straight. But I've never been in a situation where I liked hanging out with a guy, but he thought I was gay. So, there was a little bit of trepidation in that I knew that I was sort of putting up a pretense that wasn't right. I'm not normally ever dishonest. In this case, I had to be because of the show, because of the experience we were going through. But I just allowed whatever natural connection that I had with anybody on the show to come out. And with respect to Brian, we got along real well. And so that's probably why we had fun hanging out so much. Brian's a really cool guy. And I hope that this experience and the fact that I had to carry this pretense with me throughout the show isn't going to be too much to where we can't hang out and be friends after the show, because he's a cool guy. When I started on the show, I just thought, oh, it's going to be so much fun. We'll go out there, we'll play, we'll get to know people. I'm just going to go have a really good time. And it's like a big fun party and just enjoy the ride. And then I see Andra crying, and I see James and the struggles that are going through his mind, and I see the level of emotion that some of the other guys are feeling for James, and I see how intense this fun game is becoming. And then I realize, whoa, maybe I shouldn't be having so much fun for Dan at the expense of all these guys' emotions. Who am I to try and make a little